The AMMP Item Planning Detail screen is used to review the planning generation results and exception messages for a specific item. It will display all the demand documents that pertain to the displayed item, as well as other useful information for the item. To access this window, go to MRP AMMP Item Planning Details. The AMMP Item Planning Detail screen may display an item already when the window appears. You can use the navigation arrows to navigate from item to item, or you can enter Find mode to look up a specific item. Note, the SAP Refresh button can be used to refresh the screen to make sure you have the most recent data from the Item Master. The first field in the header on the AMMP Item Planning Details window is the Item field. This will display the item code for the item. You can drill down into the Item Master record by clicking the golden arrow next to the code. Following that is the name of the item in the description field. If the item belongs to an item group, it will be displayed in the item group field. The inventory unit of measure field will contain the corresponding unit of measure for the item. The inventory, sales, and purchase checkboxes will be checked if the item is an inventory, sales, or purchasing item. The Procurement Method field will show you if the item is a make or buy item. This is determined on the Planning tab on the Item Master. The Last Plan Generation field will display the last time planning was generated from the AMP Planning Generation screen. The fields below Planned Warehouse represent the quantities in all the warehouses that were used in the AMP Planning Generation window. The fields below Total Warehouse will display the total quantities in all of your warehouses that contain the corresponding item. The Preferred Vendor field will display the vendor associated as the preferred vendor in the Purchase Data tab on the Item Master. Below that is the Quantity Minimum Inventory field, which will show you the total quantity of minimum inventory in all of your warehouses. If you are using safety stock instead of minimum inventory for your warehouses, then the total quantity of safety stock for all of your warehouses will appear in the Quantity Safety Stock field. Finally, the Lead Time field will display the lead time from the Planning Data tab on the Item Master for the corresponding item. Now with the header information out of the way, we can move on to the column detail fields. The first column is Demand Due, and it represents the due date of the demand type. The Demand Type column displays the demand type that is triggering the demand for the item. This could be either a sales order, sales quotation, AR reserve invoice, forecast, safety stock or minimum inventory level, planned production order bill of material, phantom item, or a transfer request. The Demand Document Number column will show you the document number for the demand document. You also have the ability to drill down into the document by clicking on the golden arrow next to the number. The Demand Line column will display the demand line number of the item from the demand document. Actual quantity is the actual calculated demand quantity, including scrap percentages and yield percentages that the specific supply is fulfilling. In the Demand Quantity column will be the demand quantity the specific supply is fulfilling. Note, when the planning generation parameter, round up planned supplies, is checked, the planned demand will round up to the nearest whole number. Quantity pegged represents the quantity that has been pegged or allocated to this demand. The Supply Type column will display the corresponding supply type that was used to fulfill the demand of the item. The various supply types could be a planned production order, release production order, purchase order, planned purchase order, AP reserve invoice, quantity on hand, purchase requisition, purchase quotation, or a transfer request. In the Supply Document Number column will be the supply document number of the supply document that is used to fulfill the corresponding demand. You can also drill down into the supply document by clicking on the golden arrow. Note, if the supply type is a planned purchase or production order, then the supply document number will only be a placeholder until you actually add the document. You will not be able to drill down into the document since it has not been created yet. The Supply Line column will display the supply line number of the item on the supply document. An exception message may appear in the message column that pertains to the supply document. The Parent Item column will display the item code of the parent item that is generating the demand. Following that, in the Parent Type column is the source of the demand type for the parent item. This will be the same as the values in the Demand Type field. The document number from the demand document will be shown in the parent document number column. This will be the same as the document number in the demand document number column. The final two columns are the demand and supply warehouse columns. The demand warehouse column will display the warehouse number of the warehouse being used for the demand document. The supply warehouse column will show the warehouse number of the warehouse being used on the supply document. If you would like to filter the table, you can either right-click and select Filter Table, or select the Filter Table icon at the top. In the Filter Table window, you can filter the table by selecting parameters for any of the columns in the table. To update this window in the future, you must run the AMP planning generation again. The AMP item planning details will always contain data from the last planning generation. You can tell when the last time planning was generated by looking at the header field, Last Plan Generation. The AMP Item Planning Details window in LBSi's Advanced Manufacturing and Material Planning Enhancement gives you critical planning information on a per-item basis. Join us in future videos as we break down how LBSi's AMP module can help you improve your existing SAP Business One planning functionality. Be sure to click the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new video. As an SAP Gold partner, LBSi can help you take full advantage of everything the system has to offer. To get in contact with us, visit our website at www.lbsi.com and navigate to the contact link. You can also email us at sales@lbsi.com for sales-related inquiries, or SAP support@lbsi.com if you're an existing client in need of support assistance.